Wow, it's so tasty it hurts. You know, I love doing experiments and today is no exception. I want to try a technique where we hang pork legs next to a wood fire. Of course, it's going to be epic. Let's see how it turns out. I got 3 little pork legs, and I mean really small. They must be around 2 kilograms a piece. But the good thing about these things is they're full of fat and full of flavor. And what I already did yesterday was dry brine them. I took these 3 little pork legs out of their package, and as you can see, they've just been unfrozen. So I'm going to scrape the last little bits of ice off. And then I'm going to season them heavily with sea salt. This is fleur de sel. It's a light sea salt. When you are dry brining, you gotta make sure you put a heavy layer of salt on. Once that's done, I'm placing them on a rack in a tray. Then all of it goes into the fridge and we're going to let it sit there overnight. And there we are, 10 hours later with our dry brined pork legs. Some have still a little bit of salt on it, and that's perfect, but most of it dripped down into the pan together with a lot of moisture. But the dry brining process is something really cool. It's other than wet brining, where osmosis goes into the food and draws moisture in with it and flavor. Dry brining takes out moisture and expels it. And the reason we're dry brining today is because we got a little bit of that pork skin. And when we put it over wood fire, we hope it crispens up. That's our goal. And if we can do it, that would be awesome. But for that to happen, you need to dry brine. If you wet brine, the skin is not going to be as crispy. I rinsed the pork legs off in cold water to make sure all of the salt is gone. Then I pat them dry with a paper towel, and now it's time to fire up our traditional Finnish wood fire grill. When we are cooking with meat hanging down from chains, we gotta take 2 things into consideration. This fire is giving us 1, radiation heat, and 2, convection heat. This means we have heat radiating all over the place, so it's gonna hit everywhere. And we got convection heat, which is going up. But in this case, we got a little bit of wind, storm going on in the Netherlands, you know, Dutch summers. The convection heat is almost non-existent at this point. Normally, you hang meat up high, hot air rises up and it cooks. So we gotta be on the lookout today and be specially aware that our meat cooks properly. So let's hang up our meat and start cooking. Hanging your meat over fire, it's a primal thing. There's something magical about it. While you're cooking over wood fire, you gotta keep your eye out on what's happening. It's more of an activity than just hanging it right there, walking away and going to do something else. You gotta be there, you gotta feed the fire constantly, you gotta watch, look at the meat, maybe we gotta turn it, we gotta flip it, you gotta maybe reposition it even. So while we're doing all of that, we have the opportunity to work on some other ingredients. And what is more fun than stringing some vegetables together? So I got some iron thread and we're going to take a piece of that and string these bell peppers together. Look at that, that looks cool, right? So we'll do the same for some zucchinis and onions, and why not some shallots and garlic. And now, when that's all done, it's time to hang them up on the grill. So we gotta find a strategic place, some place where it doesn't cook that fast and it can hang for a longer period of time. So it's gonna be finished at the same time as our pork is. The garlic and the shallots are already turning soft, just hanging by the fireside. Look at them, they pick up a little bit of color, turning nice and brown. The skin is protecting them, but if I give them a little pull, look what happens. Well, See, I can just flick them off. And if I squeeze them, look, whoop, super, super soft. All of these ingredients that we hung on this beautiful grill have been slowly cooking. They've been picking up flavor from that smoke that's swirling up. This is just a pure joy to sit here and just watch the food cook. It's just plain happiness. And look at these little pork legs. They're slowly turning into smoked hams. In the old days, when you went to one of these ancient inns, they had a big fireplace going and the fire was roaring all the time. When they had a fresh kill, they would just hang all of these parts of the animals up and it would take all day for them to cook. By the side, while there's a stew going, the fire going, and then up in the chimney, they had the best cuts that they wanted to smoke. Same technique, same style, same flavor profile, and it's not been lost because we're doing it again right now. And because the fire is doing all the work, it doesn't mean we don't have to work. We gotta make a salsa. Oh, it's not really a salsa. We're going to make more something of like a basting sauce. Something that you can splash onto the meat and which adds more flavor. I like to start with something fresh, something that brightens up the flavors. So I'm going to cut these 2 oranges and a lemon in half and squeeze the juice out of them. We'll pour some of that in a jar and to that we'll add the same amount of olive oil. My guess is this is around 100 milliliters. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire, 1 teaspoon of paprika powder, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, half a tablespoon of dried oregano, and a whole teaspoon of salt, fleur de sel. Then we're going to mix it all up and perform our taste test. Ooh, those are some bold flavors. And while we're at it, we might as well make our own bread. This is an easy recipe starting with 400 grams of self-rising flour. To that we add 320 grams of yogurt, Greek yogurt. Of course I had to figure that out by myself, so I did a little bit too much yogurt and I needed to keep on adding flour until my dough had the right consistency. But in the end it all works out. And don't be like me, place a wet towel underneath your working surface so it doesn't slide about. Once you have the consistency in the dough that you're looking for, cut it into 8 pieces and your dough is ready to be grilled. And the Polar Grill has some really handy accessories. So we're gonna use one of their stick-on grill grates. Make it non-stick with a little bit of olive oil on a paper towel. And then on goes our dough, which I flattened. And as our dough is grilling away, we are rotating it and flipping it around, making sure that it's being cooked on all sides equally. And then we end up with all this fun, easy to make and good looking barbecue bread. We are coming up to the last half hour of the cook. So I want to be basting that meat, giving it just a little bit of crunch on the outside with a little bit of that tanginess. And we created that beautiful basting sauce and look at it, just screaming splash me on there. So why wait any longer? Let's go. What an awesome way to cook food. I absolutely love cooking on wood fire. And for all of you charcoal junkies that say, hey man, gas is not real barbecue, charcoal's real barbecue. Guess what? There's always something better. And don't you be downing on any grill. There's always a next big thing, a better thing. The barbecue that you choose is the one that's right for you. The grill that works for you is the best grill. And on a lighter note, Marcin and I had an awesome day. We were standing around this thing, jumping around, taking pictures. I think I posted on my Instagram like 10, 15 pictures, live stream, everything. It's just something that you want to share. It's just amazing, all the flames and fire, if you're doing the slow motion, if you're eating it. I burned my hands a couple of times, but that's part of the fun. It's like an experience. You know, I have this little microphone right here, and we burned it. That's how close we were to the fire. It's kind of awesome. Every burn mark is like, look at that. Barbecue tattoo. Fire's going out, we're getting to the end, and I promised that we would still do some taste testing, and burn mark number 3.
It's a lot.
Bread looks good. I got some of the juices that came out of the resting of the meat and the vegetables that went all the way down here. I'm taking some of that bread and...
This is really a lot.
It's your dinner.
It looks medieval.
There we go. It's some of the best gravy I ever had. I gotta try some of that meat.
Oh man.
Wow.
This is really good.
It's packed full with flavor. Wow.
This is surprising.
It's so tasty it hurts.
There's so much flavor in it.
I'm wrapping my head around it.
It can't be only the basting. It's in it.
It's been brined overnight, so it's nice and salty.
It's really tender. I mean, come on, look at it.
It's been hanging in the smoke all day, so it's super, super smoky.
Almost falls apart.
It's not when you smoked it on a traditional barbecue where it's get that sour smoke flavor, but this is more like a light smoke flavor, but penetrated more.
It's not dry at all. But when you look at it, when I first saw it, I thought, is this really going to be that good? It's juicy. It's tasty and it has a lot of flavor. I wasn't expecting that. It's really common that a big piece of meat doesn't have a lot of flavor. This has everything you need. I know guys, you probably don't like vegetables. These are really good.
Kind of awesome, kind of a smoke in a unique way.
This is the Viking way, I guess.
Pretty cool flavors.
This is the Viking way of grilling. I feel like a Viking. And look at the show. The show that you're giving your people when you're cooking this.
Cooking like this almost is like an adventure, like a day activity. Something you do with friends and family. You're an hour busy firing up the grill and then you have all these things hanging up there and it's going to take another couple hours to cook, and in the meantime you're making lunch and you're busy all day cooking food. It's just freaking amazing. It makes barbecue so much more than it already is. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope I had the opportunity, and I hope I managed to get across the experience that me and Morrison had, having fun, making great food, and if we did, and if we were able to, then let us know, you know, give us a thumbs up and leave us a comment of what you think about it. Foei. Don't touch my food. The dog is claiming a piece. I want to say a big thank you to our patrons and our YouTube members. I want to say a special thank you to our YouTube members and our patrons. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do it. If you don't know what that is, go down below. There are links there and you can find out how it works and how you can support us. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then.
Eet smakelijk.
And keep on grilling. Morrison, did you know people still don't know what eet smakelijk means?
Really?
Yeah, there's some. Eet smakelijk means bon appetit. So bon appetit. And what's enjoy your meal in English?
Can I try this? I want to hold this with the knife.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will it stay on?
Oh yeah, no, you can hold it like that.
This is amazing. Can I take a picture?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you look like a pirate like that, man.
Viking.
A Viking.
Morrison the fire.
That's kind of cool.